Hello everyone, this is Leo from the Monkeys Making Misplays channel. Today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on my Flagburg deck. We are slowly moving down the chain. We've done Dragon Empire now, then we did Bryant this past week. This week we will have Stoicheia, and then following week we'll have Dark States. This week we will have Flagburg facing off against Grandfia. We will have the Grandfia list on Wednesday, and then the deck or the game will be on Friday. And then for next week, we will have Chronojet versus the new Viomance Bruce. Alright, as far as the ride line for this Flagburg deck, using the standard one, I know that some people play the Zorgo ride line. I just kind of like the ability to get these two units. Flagburg is a very strong card currently, but it's being held back by the fact that Gandiva is such a prevalent thing, right? There's so much like retire and like just rearguard hate that Flagburg just can't compete at the moment. If you're able to rush some of those decks down, though, Flagburg can compete, but sometimes it relies on you going first, and since you can't control that, there's not really, it's just a luck thing, right? But ride line, we're just looking at the regular Flagburg ride line, nothing special. As for the deck, we have 3 copies of Flagburg, obviously, for Persona rides, as well as 1 cup, because you want to be able to Persona ride, because this deck doesn't get a lot of natural power, so you kind of want to get it from Persona ride. Then we have the obligatory 4 copies of Inlet Pulse, because it's a draw. It makes soul, it draws you a card, and in this deck, it has the ability to restand, as long as it's the first attacker and it's attacking at grade 3. So, obviously, it's a 4 of, really no debate there. Then we have Shelling Cannon Dragon at 3. This is a promo. I think it just recently got reprinted in the Festival Collection, so it should be a little cheaper. I don't think it's that expensive. It's not as expensive as Inlet Pulse, even though Inlet Pulse, I think at this point also has 2 reprints. I think this card is sitting at like $10. I think that's around what I got them for, because my local game shops here don't really get promos, so I usually have to buy all my product, which is why sometimes we have a hard time getting the deck profiles out because we can't get the cards in time. But Shelling Cannon Dragon allows you to, at the beginning of your battle phase, as long as he's behind Flagburg, has to be specifically behind your Vanguard, you can counterblast 1, and he can attack from the back row center, and he gets an extra 10k. So it's just another extra attack, because you don't really need to boost Flagburg. Then we have Tier Knight Arix, a new addition from set 7, which is a very good addition. It is just your attacker after Flagburg, or after Inlet. His Inlet says it needs to be the first attacker, and she specifically says she wants to be the second attacker. So she is able to restand as long as she attacks second, and it gives her an extra 5, which if you get an 8k booster is 23, which means even your opponent gets a defensive, you're still able to hit, which is, very good numbers. This deck is very important that you know like what your magic numbers are. We will have a video talking about or discussing magic numbers, because I feel like it's something that some people don't think about, but it's a very important part of the game. We have 2 more Ascendance Assaults, because I don't think you need to max it at 4. It uses CB, which can be kind of annoying. A lot of the deck does, like, if we have Flagburg who uses CB, and we have Shelling Dragon, and since you're using a CB every turn for Flagburg, it's kind of annoying, and then if you have a Shelling Dragon, it can be a little taxing. So only 2 Ascendance Assaults. We already have 1 in the ride line as well, so it should be available to you if you need it. And then we have 4 copies of Price Trident. It simply says that when your other unit attacks, if it's the 5th battle of that turn, you're able to, sorry, there's a little bit of the background there. It's able to go into soul and countercharge. It doesn't need to be standing, so you will usually use it to boost prior to having that ability proc. And with so many resenders in this deck, it's pretty easy to get that effect to pop off. We have 4 PG. Obviously, these are obligatory. You need perfect guards. I still don't have the order. But again, we don't get product in my stores very consistently, so it is kind of hard to get what we need. But if I ever find one of those, I will replace it in my decks. And then we have a card from set 9, which is Tier Knight Arianthe. Arianthe? I don't know. This is a strange name. But she used to be the grade 1 that was given for Leonorn that could resurrect an on-place resurrected grade 3 or lower. But they gave one that is specifically tied to Flagburg. And I would say she's a little bit better because she just allows you to counterblast and pitch to bring back any grade 3 or less card from your drop, and it also gives it power, which is a very good. This can just sit there on your board, and you can use it as you need to, right? Sometimes you want to get back an inlet, you want to get back maybe on artillery, right? You have inlet or artillery, or yeah, shelling cannon, inlet pulse, Arix, Ascendance Assault, right? There's a lot of very good options for what you can get off of it. Right, and it doesn't have to be like it's not an on play, so you can just keep doing it, which is very good. I also play 2 of the Burrow Mushrooms. This is because it is just a card that goes into Soul and gives you 2 boosters, right? Doesn't cost anything. You don't need anything specific. It's just a free Soul that also becomes 2 boosters for your other 2 columns, which makes it easier to hit the numbers you need. And then for triggers, we have the obvious Stoicheia OT. You could play the vanilla one. I know Festival Collection just came out. We haven't been able to get any of that product yet. I would probably switch this one for maybe the resending one because it's very good. Just to be able to resend, get another attack afterwards with 100 mil, because unfortunately with this deck you have to usually attack with your Vanguard last, so it's not optimal. And then I have 2 draw triggers and a front. The front is just because I don't have a 3rd draw trigger, but once I do, I'll probably just replace it. Fronts aren't great in this deck since, again, you have to attack with your Vanguard last. Not great for you to hit a front. Maybe defensively it'd be okay, but there's too much retire currently available, which would just mean that you're just going to get your cards are going to get destroyed. You're not going to get a chance to defend themselves. And then we have a crit because Flagburg's guard restrict just is so punishing if your opponent isn't able to throw the 3 cards to guard, and you're able to hit a crit or 2, right? That's 3 damage, right? If your opponent has to keep wasting 3 cards because they don't want to risk getting crit, you're doing pretty well. And then we have 2 vanilla heals, and then we have the multi-attack heal, and then the higher grade heal, because that's kind of the biggest issue with this deck. If you get rushed down, you're also very susceptible, and the greater the greater grade heal is very important because we have Messiah and Chronojet currently running around, as well as because the Festival Collection just came out. We'll probably be seeing a resurgence of all those grade 4 Vanguards from set 3 because they have an access to it. As well as I know there is a promo card being released for all 5 of them that allow them to sort of grade skip up, which is going to be very interesting. I know Nirvana Mahar, the grade 4 has that card already, and it does pretty well. We've seen Magnolia get it. I don't know if that promo is available yet, but I know it is getting it. So these grade heals are probably going to become very important if in any of the regular grade 3 decks like Flagburg, like Barrow, things like that. Gandiva might start playing these more to have shield, because they're going to have to face against grade 4s a lot, so it's better to have the extra shield. And that is everything for this deck. Flagburg is very simple. Um, Deck building wise, it can be a little complicated to understand the attacks, but it's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. I'll show you a board of sort of what you want, right, on your. There's two different ones you want for depending on if you're going first and your opponent is going to be at grade 2 on your grade 3 turn, then you'd prioritize having an Ascendant Assault and a Tier Knight Arix. So you would attack with Ascendant Assault, attack with Arix, and then this would trigger Ascendant Assault. You would CB1 to restand it. And then at the end of the battle, because Arix was a second attack, you'd restand it. That'd be 2 attacks. Swing with Ascendant Assault again for 10. Then swing with Arix for 15. And now Flagburg would get its full effect, which will draw, retire 2 rear guards, and I'll make it 3 cards to guard. Right? But let's say you are going, or you went second. Your optimal board in that situation would be an Inlet Pulse, an Arix, and a Shelling Cannon. Because both of these require your opponent to be at grade 3. So these cards you don't want to put out there if you're going first. These are definitely going second cards. So you'll move to battle, right? For this setup, you'll need 2 CB, so we'll just put these here, right? We'll go to battle phase, activate Shelling Cannon. It's Counterblast 1. It'll gain 10k, and then we'll go to battle, swing with Inlet. We'll Soul Blast the 1 for Inlet, resanding him. Then we'll swing with Arix. Again, Soul Blasting 1 to restand it. Swing with Arix again, because it'll be at least it'll be bigger than the Inlet Pulse, right? Then you'll swing with Inlet Pulse. That's 4 attacks. And then here you can swing with Flagburg first to save your Shelling Cannon Dragon in case you get any triggers, right? Let's say your opponent is able to perfect guard it. You would rather save an attacker for after that. And you want to save the one with the most power, so you'd save the Shelling Cannon. And that'd be what you do if you're going second, essentially. But yes, Flagburg is a very fun deck. It is unfortunately not very relevant right now because there is a lot of rearguard hate, and the Flagburg kind of does need to rearguard to win. Hopefully, I'll be playing against Grandfia. Grandfia is a very good deck, or at least Cat's version of it is a very good deck. It doesn't have the greatest support, but it is a very, very good deck. Again, it's showing a little bit of the background. So we'll have that game ready. So this has been Leo. Please consider subscribing. We are trying to, grow our audience, see what we can do here. We love playing Vanguard. We have ordered our case of set 11, so when that case does get here, I'll be opening that on camera. Hopefully, we'll see if I can get that setup done. And I think that's it. I think that'll wrap it up for today. Thank you for watching.